Hey, it's Lee for On Your Marks Wrestling, and I'm here with an ROH review for May 8th, 2018. Again, these air a little bit later here in Canada, I believe, like 5 days after the fact. So we start the show off with Beer City Bruiser and Brian Malonis versus Coast to Coast, which is made of Jaheim Ali and LSG. Haven't seen LSG before. Coast to Coast come out pretty hot. They hit some dives on the outside. Beer City Bruiser misses a cannonball to the outside, so that's kind of a tough bump to take. At one point, Malonis is holding one of the Coast to Coast guys, and the other guy jumps on top from the top rope, does a crossbody, and Malonis actually catches him as well. So he has both of them and essentially delivers a slam to them. So it's not like a body slam or a follow-away slam. He basically just kind of does a slam forward, a little bit like a, what they call it, World's Strongest Slam when... I forget what his name is. Mark Henry used to do it. The big guys at one point collide, which kind of gives Coast to Coast a little bit of an advantage. LSG hits a 450 on Malonis, who kicks out at 2.5. There's a last call by the Bruiser and Malonis, which is a Malonis vertical suplex into a frog splash. It's broken up by the Coast to Coast member who was not in it, who I don't remember which was which. At the end of it, though, Coast to Coast hit a Coast to Coast on Malonis. At least one of them does. The other one just hits kind of a regular drop kick. So it's LSG hits the Coast to Coast, and Ali hits a kind of running drop kick on Malonis, who's on the ground, and they get the win that way. It's said to be an upset. I don't know the teams that well, but yeah, it does seem like an upset. We get a promo from Jay Lethal where he says that he's lost without gold. He says he talked to management and they said that he needs to rack up wins before he gets another title shot. And he says that he'll beat all those guys that beat him recently and anybody else that they throw at him. It's nothing, but it was fine. The Young Bucks do a little promo where they challenge the Briscoes next week. They say that the people are going to get pay-per-view quality on free TV. So then the second match of the night is Will Ferreira of the Dogs versus Jonathan Gresham, also known as the Octopus, I believe, something like that. The bigger dog, Brett Titus, says that he's hungover, so he's going to be sitting this one out, letting the little dog go solo. There's a little bit of chain wrestling. Gresham's a really good chain wrestler. I like watching that guy. The other guy's pretty good too. At one point, the arm of Gresham is attacked, and then Gresham attacks Ferreira's arm. There's a cool combo by Gresham so Gresham does this kind of like just a sequence of moves, but ends up with a nice arching pin, and he actually gets the win that way. Then Titus jumps into the ring and attacks Gresham along with Ferreira. And then the Motor City Machine Guns come out, and they basically save Gresham from a beatdown. We get a promo with Cody, and he's there with Marty Scurll. And Cody talks about Dalton Castle facing the best wrestler in the world coming up soon. And Cody's just talking about himself. He's saying he's the best wrestler in the world. He's the most newsworthy wrestler in the world and all this stuff. And then... Skrull thinks that he's actually talking about him, so Skrull cuts in and says, "Yeah, you're facing me." And then Cody kind of talks to him and tries to correct him and whatnot. And then Skrull once again says, "Yeah, you're facing me." And it's just a little bit of a comedy thing. Whatever, it was good. It was fine. There's a SoCal Uncensored promo where they call out the Kingdom for stealing their title belts. Nothing really special there, but it was fine. Shane Taylor is in the ring. He tells Pittsburgh that he's back, talks about being paid to beat up people, and he tells Ryan Nova, who's his opponent, that ROH wastes money on guys like him who aren't even part of the roster. Ryan Nova, they had already recorded a promo with him where he sounded super confident, and basically the match starts and Taylor just dominates right away. The super confident promo kind of made the squash feel even bigger. Taylor hits a chokeslam, and then he hits a kind of sit-out, I guess, tombstone pile driver kind of thing, but where he doesn't land on his knees, it lands on his ass instead. And he gets the win that way. It was fine. Then the Kingdom have a promo. There's not much to say about what anybody says except for Taven, who calls out Dalton Castle. Then Castle cuts a promo with the boys, and it's practically nothing. The Kingdom versus Dalton Castle and the boys comes up. The Kingdom gives Shane Taylor some money, and Taylor sits at ringside close to their belts. So I guess they've given him money to protect the championships from anybody who might want to try to steal them. Castle has a splint on his last two fingers. So he's kind of wrestling handicapped, but he's still managing some nice throws. The Kingdom take out the boys and isolate Castle, which allows Taven to attack his hand. He basically stomps it. There's a pop-up spinebuster by TKO Ryan, which was really quite cool. Then Daniels comes out to try to steal his belts back, and Taylor defends or protects the belts. And Daniels and Taylor are apparently friends, but Taylor knocks Daniels down, and Daniels just kind of yelling at him while he goes back to the back of the locker room. The boys do a little twin magic while that distraction is happening. Castle then starts throwing the boys into dives on the outside, so he probably throws them, I'd say, 12 times. Pretty good stamina from those guys. There is a... Taven at one point hits Castle's hand with a belt, so Castle goes to punch him, and Taven puts up the belt, and Castle punches the belt. So you're going back to the injured hand again. And then Taven manages I don't know what he calls his finisher, but basically he traps the arm between his legs and does essentially a forward DDT on one of the boys. I can't remember which one it was. And they get the win that way. Then the Kingdom attack Castle after the match. They put his hand in a folding chair, and Taven jumps from the second rope and stomps it. And that's pretty much the end of the show. The in-ring was pretty solid. I would say 2 pretty good matches. The promos were forgettable, but not a bad hour of TV. It's when it's only an hour, you can sit through pretty much anything. ROH is a fairly entertaining show. I can't really complain. I've never loved any episode, but I've never hated any either. To me, this was a 7 out of 10. And that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Alright, thanks for watching.